Yeah, go for it.
Good evening, everyone. We are Pillbug Interactive. I'm Dave, and I'm joined on our stream tonight by Sean. Say hello, Sean.
Hello.
Who is the other half of Pillbug Interactive. And we have a special guest this evening for our developer stream, and that is Jordan Reese. Say hello, Jordan.
Hello, Dave.
And Jordan is an amazing composer who we are lucky enough to work with on some of our games. And just to kind of illustrate that, I'm going to click actually on our game now that you see in the background, and you'll get hopefully some of the soundtrack that's going to be playing for the rest of the evening. And there it is. That's some of Jordan's handiwork. So we are the Steam Summer Sale is Summer Sale? No, it's not. Let's start that again. The Steam Summer Festival is underway today. Today's the first day of the festival, and we are kicking things off on our side with a developer stream. So I'm going to play the game on stream, and we're going to talk about the development of it, where it is at the moment, where it's going, and hopefully soon, Sean, there will be a playable demo that you can get.
Yeah, we have got a demo that should be live. I know Valve were having a few issues with getting them all live automatically, so that might not be up just yet. But yeah, so the game, it's a vehicle building game. You are building a vehicle to travel across America. Also, you happen to be a ladybug, and you'll see the ladybug soon.
Yep. So I'm just bouncing around my vehicle. So, like, the first thing you would have seen on stream was what we lovingly refer to in-house as the blueprint mode. And that's kind of where you will do a good chunk of the vehicle building. Yeah. And then what you're seeing now is the kind of some of the core gameplay loop, which is kind of on the road, right? So I've got my vehicle here that I built in the blueprint mode. I've got 5 sails because this is right at the start of the game, so everything gets kind of nice and chilled. But I still have to maintain those sails, as our tutorial is saying here, and keep them. Now, interestingly, I've seen like quite a few streamers struggle with this. Just what to say if the sail goes up or down.
Because originally
the correct language for that.
Yeah, what do you call it?
Well, you raise the sail, right?
A sails. You raise the sails. That's what you would say if you're a pirate, right? Unroll. Dave Soft saying unroll the sails.
Unroll the sails.
Unroll. Okay. Unfurl. Oh, I like unfurl. That's a good word. There we go. Can we change our sail automation to automatic unfurler?
Unfurler. Well, actually, no, because our actual. That's actually what Sean's referring to as the panel that's the auto trim. And that's a sailing term. Like, I actually did a whole 15 minutes research into what that actually was. So yeah, Jordan, what would you call it if you had to lower a sail?
De-hoist.
De-hoist. Nice.
I suppose hoist the sail. Yeah,
hoist the sail. So is it de-hoisted? Is that? Okay, I like it. So this is another big part of the game, which is the dialogue system, and you get this, or at least a chance at speaking to other characters along the road. Seeing as this is a development stream, so Sean, do you want to talk about why we added this "Don't Talk to Rusty" button if we like dialogue?
So we like dialogue. So we launched a beta. So this is actually, so if you download the demo when the demo is available, maybe it's available now, I don't know.
Yeah.
So whenever it's available, you're playing the beta, and we had a bunch of beta testers. Why did we? Well, a lot of feedback we got. That's a hard question.
Kicked off with a toughie.
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
So originally the game was like you would come in, you'd always talk to Rusty.
Yeah.
But I guess just some people don't want to. It's really the only answer I can come up with. Like it's that some people didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I suppose we
were kind of okay
having
with
a story mode and a non-story mode, but then that didn't feel right to us. So
Some games do that though, right? Like they have a like a narrative mode and a kind of more sandboxy, do whatever you want kind of mode.
Yeah.
Jordan, are you someone that clicks on all the dialogue in games, or you kind of skip to the action kind of guy?
No, I do like a narrative.
Okay, cool. Right. Well, in your honor, then we will have the next bit of dialogue.
So Dave Soft said like that basically people asked for it to be skipped.
Yeah. Like
and we couldn't think a reason not to let people do that. And then very Lucally is saying that most people don't want to repeat the dialogue.
I guess that's that too. Mm-hmm.
And that's an interesting thing because the dialogue doesn't always repeat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are in any of the dialogue conversations, we'll see when we get to one, there is an option. It's an option system, right? It's a branching dialogue system that we talked on stream quite a lot about. So, yes, sometimes... What am I... Okay, and let me just build this so we get out of that tutorial bit. Yeah, so like it's a persistent tutorial. What am I trying to say? Yeah, so they changed like what the characters say, and then some of the outcomes of the dialogue changes as well.
Yeah.
So like, we're great timing. I'll give you an example. Here's Ellen. So it's the first time that the player meets the character of Ellen. And this is what the dialogue system looks like. I'll run through it and read through it, as we often do on our streams when we stream other people's games. Because some people like to kind of, I don't know, just look away, kind of be doing the washing up, whatever. So if you miss the reading opportunity, you miss it. So Ellen says, "So, you're here." And then we get these three options here. Because I'm on controller, it's kind of highlighting this yellow. A couple of streamers have wondered if that's us giving them nods to pick that one, but that's definitely not the case. So I will actually choose the "How did you find me" option. How did you find me? Rusty told me you were here. He made it sound bad. So Rusty, for those who might have missed it earlier, was the crab that we didn't talk to in the previous truck stop. I'm going to say I think he's scared. He's sensitive, that's all men are. Too true. But I guess he just wants to help. You don't look like you need much help. Are you serious? So no, we don't always give the player choices. Sometimes we kind of railroad them into certain dialogue conversation moments. You can't be in that much pain, not really. I'm managing. I've been through worse. It didn't take me long to get back on my feet, get back to life. Great pep talk, coach. That's a popular option with the people I've seen who choose just to kind of have this conversation. Softly doesn't work. You need someone to push you. Come by and be awful anytime. You always know how to. And I'm going to throw this choice out to the crowd. Which of these... make me feel good about myself, or rain on my parade, or put things in perspective? Jordan and Sean, preferences?
I think I'd go for put things in perspective.
Nice. Poignant. And because you're the special guest, I don't even care what Sean says, so we're there we go.
I was just checking some weird things with Steam, that's all.
Okay. You missed it.
Yeah, I missed
Jordan
it.
chose correctly. Just don't take too long here. You've got a family, people depending on you, and not just for Bryony's birthday. So, Jordan, you may not know this, but we are trying to get home in time for Bryony's birthday. Bryony is the name of our daughter. Okay, so I get to pick a blueprint. So you get to pick a new blueprint to build in blueprint mode and on the roads at every truck stop, so you get loads of different options as the game progresses. I've got a lot of thrust panels, so I'm actually going to build something fun and do a trampoline.
Trampoline?
Yeah. That's what... so there we go, right. So we're doing the carrots one next.
So yeah, we added the... God, I feel like there's lots going on, isn't there? Right. So So okay, the carrots. What's the carrots all about? So this was actually from the beta. Like I think something we found was that. Well, I think the beta was really useful. So thank you to everybody who took part in that, because it really made us kind of reframe the game into a building game. Like we realized, like it sounds silly because this is quite obviously a vehicle building game, but somehow we kind of lost that along the way. And then I think the beta kind of pushed us back into that mode, right?
Yeah.
And so like yeah, we we ended up thinking, okay, well, what do we want people to kind of build vehicles and have fun designing, but we need to give people a reason for that. So then we added the objective modes. You are not going to be able to clean that.
Yeah, I am not. And you know what? What I like about this is I've got the money and perhaps the time to kind of build over it, which is not something that you see a lot of our players do, because they're sensible and they don't mess up.
People are definitely like pointing out your mid-air like sails and solar panels there.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Like the solar panel is a problem, but the sails are good.
Mid-air sail trimming.
Oh, nice.
Or mid-air unfurling.
It's like parkour sailing, right?
Yeah. So a sailing parkour game.
Yeah. I mean,
what would that be like?
It sells itself.
Like, what if you had like a Tony Hawk game that was entirely on a pirate ship?
Okay.
And it was all about, you got points at how cool you kind of tied things on the boat.
Right, scrap this. We're making that game.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jordan, your music was lovely, but it's not piratey enough.
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, do you want to, since you're a special guest and people hear us whitter along on our stream all the time, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it was like composing music for Making It Home?
Yeah, it was a really interesting experience. Like I don't like this kind of type of music is very far out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
So that's why I enlisted the help of Paul, who sang on the title track. He played the guitar throughout the soundtrack, actually. But I feel with a lot of composers generally, there's this kind of mindset that if you're a good composer, you can compose in any style. But I kind of disagree with that statement. I think sometimes it's quite easy to see through fake or music that imitates a style but without sounding authentic.
Sure.
And enlisting Paul, he's a specialist in playing the guitar. He's in a very successful band called Zervas and Pepper, who do a lot of kind of folk influenced music that has a lot of sort of pulls from Americana and a lot of different styles, really.
Okay.
So bringing him onto the soundtrack sort of took what I would have done, which I suppose if I did it alone, it would have been more like a sound-alike. And then introducing him into the creative team kind of took it to something that was completely original and sounds authentic, as opposed to me trying to replicate a style. So we worked really well together, because obviously I kind of have nods to my sort of orchestral background and the trailer stuff that I do, so I kind of put bits of that into the soundtrack, and then he brought his amazing voice and guitar playing to it, and I think it ended up working quite well together. Certainly,
I think so.
Certainly not a style that's that much has been done of, or not that I'm aware of anyway, the whole sort of cinematic folk thing, but yeah, I think it turned out okay.
Yeah, we'd say so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like it was really interesting. So when we first were talking about the soundtrack of this game, I think one of us mentioned that the bit in Red Dead Redemption where you go to Mexico for the first time.
Yeah, one of us mentioned that. I love that. Yeah. Go on, be honest.
I mentioned that. I was trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Not like anyway. So there's the moment where what's his name? I've been listening to him all the time now. I know who he is. The guy that did that.
Yes. Oh God. It's Jose Gonzalez, isn't it?
Yeah. So that was kind of like a touchstone for me, because Jordan, I remember you saying like how you really wanted to like focus on key instruments. and and how that was a bit different. Games don't often have that kind of thing in it, and so like the example I could think of that had it was that, and it kind of fit the game's feel, the kind of Western feel that we're going for. We kind of almost like by mistake went for a Western, or like by accident ended up with this kind of Western vibe.
Yeah.
But then so when the music dropped, like so many people have seen that link and got that same feeling, which I think is really, 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 really powerful and yeah. So you're building Tool now, Dave. Why are you building Tool?
Because the bonus objective of this is involves stuff that goes Tool. So I don't want to spoil it, but
okay.
That's what's going to happen in a mode.
So Frozen has requested that we make Pirate Ship and Spaceship DLC.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
okay, here it comes. I need to get... Oh, no, I'm going to miss it. Am I going to miss it? Oh, no, I got there. Okay. Well, I built way too tall, and now I can't hit that balloon. Okay. So this is quite unusual in the game, where you actually leave your vehicle behind for a bit. And you actually... What shocks most people about this particular level or objective, as we tend to call them, is that it kind of ruins bits of your vehicle that you've so carefully built. And I missed that one. So yeah, but fortunately you can build on the road if you are super quick and kind of have a sense of know what you're doing. But then I shouldn't be building up because they're about to get completely destroyed. So that was a complete waste. So yeah. Well, that's really cool, Jordan, about kind of like how it's kind of tied into knowing kind of what your own strengths as a composer are, but also kind of pushing you maybe out of those comfort zones and trying new things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. And it also illustrated, the music that comes easiest to me tends to be kind of large-scale orchestral stuff, which, like... so you might assume that that's harder to write than really pared down kind of guitar and voice stuff. But if anything, I found the kind of writing a song and the whole guitar thing far, far harder because there's a lot less going on, and there's the few parts that are present have to be far more interesting than having 60 things going on at once.
Okay, sure.
So I found that to be really difficult, and I would have definitely struggled without Paul's help on that. But every day is a learning experience.
Yeah, sure. And so, did you actually, for those of him who might not know a lot about like how music is composed, even, did you and Paul get together in like a studio, or like what were you guys? What was your process to work together?
No, so I've got a studio of my own in my house, and Paul has one in his house.
Of course, yeah.
I sort of just sketched out the tracks basically. I created a framework. I created some sort of basic orchestration. And as I'm not a guitarist, I just sort of put in some sort of guitar sketches. But Paul then, when he got the tracks from me, he kind of went with the outline of what I did, but then completely changed it and recorded his own bits and then sent it back to me, and we went back and forth about 7 or 8 times in total before getting the final result. So it was very much a trial and error process. He removed bits, I did, and vice versa as well, until we got to a point where we felt it fitted.
Nice. Okay. So obviously, just for those who might be wondering what a weird question like that was, Jordan did do some work on this pre-COVID, right? So like it wasn't. It sounded weird to my mind. I was like, why would Jordan and Paul actually be in the same space? Because no one's doing that right now. But they were doing work on this well before COVID. It's fair to say, isn't it? So,
yeah, absolutely. It's been a slow burner, but a lot of these things are.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, building some stuff now. Sean, these days, do you spend all your budget? Do you go big and go home kind of thing?
I always spend all my budget. Like I figure if I've got the money, I spend it.
Yeah, fair enough. Is that how you approach your personal finances as well, or?
Pretty much. Like, isn't that what we're meant to do now?
Well, true. Yes.
Yeah.
Just doing your civic duty.
doing my civic duty and buying fans.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
I'm
dude.
single-handedly trying to keep the economy going, Dave. That's what I'm doing.
You've been talking a lot about your fans recently.
Yeah, I'm going to go a bit quiet for a bit because I need to figure out something that's going wrong.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I get to talk to Jordan, who's far more interesting. So, so Jordan, what have you been playing in lockdown? Have you had any time to play games in lockdown?
Yeah, I mean, as I think I've outlined before, I'm not actually a massive gamer. When I was a kid, it wasn't really something that that I had access to. But in recent years, I've bought myself a console and I've started getting into it. So I have been playing more and more. The two games I've been playing most at the moment are both equally frustrating.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Jurassic World Evolution is
okay, yeah.
which I've almost completed now. Actually, I've been really enjoying that. And the other one is also dinosaur themed, which is called Ark Survival.
Oh, yes.
Which is not for the faint-hearted.
Sure.
But it's good fun. It's good fun until someone destroys your base and nicks your stuff.
Yeah.
But up to that point, it's great.
Nice. So have you been playing Ark by someone? Do you mean someone online? Like, do you play with... Because I know it's on Steam and stuff. I don't know enough about Ark, to be honest, but...
It's a survival game. There's no completion state as such. You just have to survive as long as you can.
Okay.
And you're competing against other players online, and also there's several dinosaurs that litter the island.
Sure.
Yeah, it's you can starve to death, you can become dehydrated. There's many ways to die.
Sure.
The whole kind of object of the game is just not to, I suppose. So that can be quite fun depending on stress levels.
Sure.
You've played a bit of Jurassic World Evolution, haven't you?
I have indeed. We played it a little bit on Steam. Actually, on stream. Sorry, it was actually a little tough for my system to stream, so I didn't get as good a stream on it as I'd like. But I enjoyed it very much. There were some really nice touches, like I thought, of being able to go into the Ranger vans and stuff. I thought that was really cool. Oh god, all these carrots. So I really enjoyed that side of it, and it's definitely like we've been playing like when I get a chance to stream, when Sean lets me stream. I've been playing kind of games that I've tried to find that are pub based, because I've been having I've been missing going to the pub, as have many people in lockdown. So I've been trying to find pub-based games, and quite a few of them are like simulation, like business simulation style stuff. So yeah, like simulating running a theme park that also deals with the fact, as the film suggests, you've got all the major problems of a theme park and a zoo and its scary ass dinosaurs. Seems pretty good. Like, yeah, I can definitely see why people got into that game. And enjoyed it.
Dave Soft's asking, ever played Last Call?
I haven't played. Ooh.
Dialogue. Have you heard of it?
No. Okay, that's going on the list. Is it still available, Dave? So, yeah, obviously, I will add that to the list if it's on Steam.
No, I'm I'm having to contact Steam about something that's broken, so...
Okay. Are we not streaming on Steam?
No, like we are streaming on Steam on our store page, but we are not streaming on our event. Some random other stream is streaming.
Okay. Intriguing.
So anyway, they probably won't ever get to that in time, but
we can say we tried.
Yeah.
Let's get some blue. Didn't I look about this? Yeah, talk amongst yourselves. I've got a vehicle to build.
So what are you thinking? So do you like so Last Call is yes, it is on Steam.
Nice. Okay. I will definitely. Oh, boo.
Yeah. So yeah, so do you build big and go home? Like, right, I'm gonna try and get my head back into. So what are the panels you're building? Explain what. What's,
sorry. Yeah, you actually want me to.
Balloons.
Right. So balloons reduce the weight of your vehicle. Okay, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole vehicle or just the column?
Just the column in which the balloons are in. Thank you, Sean. Yep. As it says here on our helpful balloon tooltip. And that's useful because like one of the big things that like limits you as your vehicle gets bigger and bigger is, all these panels weigh an amount in kilograms, and that is going to affect all kinds of things, isn't it, Sean? As I get like right into this race.
So we start again. What did you ask me? Sorry, I'm doing like 10 things at once here.
Weight is a really big effect on things.
Yeah, weight. Yeah. Things that are heavier, like take more force to accelerate them.
Sure.
There's so much physics in this game.
That's
you
just
could teach
science.
Physics with that game.
Yeah.
You could,
That makes it sound dangerously like it's not going to be fun, though, Sean.
Hey, I was a physics teacher, don't you know?
Yeah.
I definitely made it fun.
Sean makes
People are excited about
fun.
the music coming in.
Oh, yeah. This track's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe we should talk. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how we chose to use Jordan's amazing music while he's here.
Yes.
Or do you want me not to?
Yes,
Yes, that's fine.
You to do that.
I do. Okay, so, oh, God. Yeah, well, I'm kind of busy too. So,
why are you racing a rabbit?
Why am I racing a rabbit? Good question. That's got nothing to do with music.
No, he hasn't.
But I'm racing a rabbit because this is the encounter at the end of Act 1, which is with our sister Ellen, who's been like, if we talk more to Ellen, we realise how she's kind of mean, but she's got her own things going on, as do a lot of mean people. So we have to understand some of the reasons for why she says what she says. But the encounter, as you can see here, as other people have noticed while streaming, it kind of has a whole tortoise and the hare kind of vibe, because the hare, races ahead, but then has a nap because she gets cocky, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the music's about to kick in now. So what we found and what we admired about other game music is there's room for constancy in game music, but
What's that again? Constant.
so like having music on constantly, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Yeah.
And what we realized is that a lot of the games we really admired and enjoyed and thought of as touchstones for making it home actually do an excellent job of periodically giving the player music. And somehow that emphasizes it even more than if it's always there.
Yeah.
Because if something's always there, you kind of just, it's just always there, right?
It's
You don't know,
yeah.
you don't notice it as much. Whereas we feel that, like, at the moment, anyway, and of course this could change, that as the music starts, you really get a sense that you're getting through the leg, and you're nearing its end. And in this case, we're nearly losing to Ellen, which is a bit of a shame.
Okay.
Doing okay, but like we're never catching her at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But the music cranks up, as you can hear.
Yeah.
So even though I've lost.
So how we use the music? So Jordan, do you want to explain? Like you did the someone pointing out that you lost. We had the kind of. So what did you? So you got the main tracks, and then how you split that up and kind of did loops and stuff for us, didn't you? Like different. Go on.
Yeah. So there were 7 main tracks that just exist in their entirety, and then each one has basically 3 different states. So there's a low intensity version, a medium intensity version, and then the full track. And the idea in each was to basically have less layers. So in a more intense situation, the idea was that the full track might be triggered. If the intensity or the urgency is slightly lower, you might trigger the low intensity one, which has less elements in it. The percussion is taken out, some other instruments are taken out, and it's just a tidy way of scaling the music up and down without having to write loads of new content. And it also kind of just adds a sort of sense of cohesiveness, I suppose, to the soundtrack as a whole, if they're all coming from the same, the same original material.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you guys implemented them, didn't you?
Yes. Just update. We are now actually on the proper page of the Steam Festival.
So someone isn't like hijacking our stream. Is that
someone isn't pretending to be us.
Nice.
Well, not deliberately. Anyway. Yeah. So it was actually really good because it's one of those things of like when we kind of talked about how to make the music, and like we had in our mind how we'd use it, and then like so many things, you sit down and actually use it how you think, and you think, oh no, actually, we can think about it this way, and so we kind of used those main tracks. We're using those main tracks that you did as the encounter tracks to really make a big, because they're longer and to make kind of a bigger deal out of it. And then you see the other kind of more loopable, or the different, what did you call them? The different
kind of intensities, right?
Yeah. I can't remember what I called it.
Arrangement. Is there a word? Is there like a musical word?
Well, I mean, in game terms, I usually see them referred to as states.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have your different states of intensity, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, okay, carry on.
Yeah. That's it really. Like so we've got those states of intensity are going to build up throughout the game, and then you've got these kind of the full tracks at the end of each one. There's a request for you to go the cargo route.
Oh, I just picked the non-cargo route. Sorry, everyone. Don't worry, we're going to get through like a ton of these. I'm not kind of stopping and smelling the roses. I'm getting on with business.
Yeah. So Frozen's asked a good question. So have we ever zoomed in the camera and to see how it played at a closer view? And that is something we talked about quite a bit.
Yes.
No, it's a good thought. It's definitely a thought we've been thinking about.
And why? But what triggered that thought, Sean? Because I think that's an interesting question.
Yeah. Well, there's because
for us.
The character is small. Like I guess is the. Oh no. Okay, what triggered the thought was when we were making like GIFs and trailers, you couldn't really make out what was going on.
Yeah. Which is a real worry, right?
Yeah, which is a real worry. So we did think about that, and we actually tried. We did try zooming the camera in, but what we then realised was that actually we had decided on the proportions of these panels quite carefully, and that you needed to see more of that the game is actually about seeing your vehicle and seeing what panels are
available or doing what they want. That's what we needed. Yeah.
Now, what I would like to do. I always worry about, but I know we've got a really nice community who understands development means things change, but I would really like to try and play with that a bit more, if nothing else, for an accessibility option. Or like for people with, so a couple of things I want to try and add in is the ability to make the background go black and white. For people with poor eyesight.
Yeah, interesting.
Possibly even adding like a highlight behind the character to help people. And then maybe an option to zoom in the camera, but we'd have to. It's something that is like more complicated than you think, because the camera is built in a way that is based on the size of the camera, the way it moves and stuff. So it's doable. Everything's always doable, but that's something. Hopefully, you're going for that. But that's a really good point, Frozen. Like a really good thought. So Mufasa has asked, did Jordan get to see the game before he wrote the music, or did we give him a brief description of the game? So do you want to answer that one, Jordan? I can't really remember.
You did send me some work in progress gameplay, didn't you? And I think didn't you send me a playlist of about 20 songs that you liked, I think, initially?
Yes.
But you were kind of, there was quite a range at that point, because I think you guys hadn't quite decided what musical direction you wanted to go down. Like there was some, what was there? There was some like ELO stuff. There was some Red Dead Redemption stuff. There was a mix that you guys sent over, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think we actually released that as a Patreon video.
Oh right.
We did, yeah. We were chatting away about music, and released that as a video for our patrons. Good, remembered. Well remembered.
Yeah.
Oh, Okay.
did
Right,
you
so
do?
I'm making good use of our back to blueprint mode feature,
do?
which a lot of people haven't noticed. So I set myself up so that I could use the bellows to turn my turbines, which I did on the last run, but then I got excited by the catapult, which works really well with the bellows, which then meant I forgot to move my propellers up a level.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so bear with me while I completely redesign the vehicle, because I still want to make that effect, but we're just going to cheat, basically.
You're going to cheat?
Yeah, basically. I think that's kind of what I'm doing. It's not cheating per se, it's just making a particular odd design choice. Well, it's a deliberate design choice.
But to be fair, this is actually a good thing to point out, because so Frozen's saying that he thinks the blueprint mode was the biggest and best change that we made. In the beta, and I think, I think it's changed the way we look at this game completely.
Yes.
Because one thing to know is you always get your money back. Like, you can just rebuild stuff as you want, and there's no punishment for it, because this is a game about being creative, and we want you to just kind of try something and it break. I feel this is almost like our games in a nutshell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is our games are always about breaking, like, try something, try, fail, try,
Has it broken?
Keep retrying, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Be fixed. Yeah. So okay. So tell us what's your thoughts behind this design?
For my vehicle.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is because I know we might have some making it home stalwarts in here that have played the game, perhaps even more than we have. But then we might have some people who have played it a little bit.
Who haven't played it.
Yeah, but also some people maybe who have played it on stream, and I'm sure they played more than they've streamed or whatever. And it's been great to see people stream. But what we realised, I suppose, is that some people were missing some of the more kind of what I like to think of as the more exciting panel interactions. And that's fine, because they were just getting to grips with it. They haven't been developing it for 2 years like we have. So I wanted to design a vehicle that made use of some of the more kind of the panels that you might look at initially when you get given them as a choice and go, that sounds cool, but I don't know actually how I would use it to make me go any quicker.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to show people, and this is something that we're talking about in terms of development, like how we can increase how visible this is.
Yeah.
But obviously the cannon firing you into stuff is something that, can make the cannon not just fun, but kind of useful and interesting.
Yeah.
But then there's also a whole system, I didn't mean to knock that, of wind that is there to be found. We kind of like how tricksy it is to notice it.
Yeah.
But it can be used. So I didn't touch these panels, right? These propellers. They are going round right now at the speed they're going round because of the wind from the bellows going backwards.
Yes. So one of the things about this game that we're trying to put in is this idea of synergies between the panels.
Mm-hmm.
So you at the basic level, you're building panels to make your vehicle have thrust, and a bunch of them work in different ways, and they all kind of subtly interact. But we've already been working on stuff based on the feedback, because like you said that people didn't really notice those effects. And what we ended up doing actually is we've now in the current build of the game, which will be eventually the LA Access build, I think. We've added now numbers, so each panel will tell you exactly how much thrust they're creating.
Yeah.
With numbers. And we hope that what that means is that you can, it's we were kind of worried.
We were really worried about that choice, right?
I think so. Why were we worried about that?
We were worried because what we didn't want the game to become is you just watching a bunch of numbers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that was something we were really properly concerned about. But I mean, there's a joy to watching numbers, right?
I'm all for it.
It's not that that's necessarily a bad thing. So you can literally see the cogs turning in my brain as I try and work out what I want to do with this vehicle. Because we're collecting balloons. So we need to go tall.
So balloons, yeah, you need to be tall for this.
Yeah, but I want. So let's see. And I don't
So yeah,
have
so
anything.
at the moment, so in the top right, you've got the objective for this run, for this leg. Okay, so you've got a request to embrace the wall jump and make a pylon.
Oh, embrace the wall jump. But then you get to see how rubbish at wall jumping I am.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, fine. Let's get like this at least vaguely functional first, and then I'll build a crazy pylon.
Just realised that your camera is above the name of the vehicle of the panels.
Oh, it is. Yeah, sorry. There's just like nowhere on the screen that's good to put a camera.
Every piece of real estate.
So yeah. Okay. So we are.
Probably could you use like the scaffolding to get really high up?
Yeah, that's what we're doing, right?
So what music is it we used? It was like +1 in this one.
Yeah,
which worked really well.
Don't put
really
Jordan on the spot as if he can remember that. Like that doesn't seem fair.
I'll have to send you across the. I don't think I've sent you across the tracks with the final titles, have I?
No. Although, like, I guess because Plug Here, they're on Spotify, people.
Yes.
You can kind of go and see the tracks, the full soundtrack with its title and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking this through enough. All right, just for those.
No, I think this is pretty. Because the other thing is when we did the beat, like before the beta, you couldn't decide where the walls went.
Yeah, like that was huge, right? That was a massive change.
Wall mode.
Okay, I also need some way to get up there, don't I? That's screw trampoline.
You got to get up. Yeah, I see what you mean. You can actually get up to your crazy wall jump area.
Yeah, like presumably this is not adding very much weight. At least, yeah, it's only 1 kilogram per panel there. I'm just wondering if I'm actually just going to go epically slowly here, but or what I want to do. Sorry, bear with me,
Someone just I just gotta pass on the description of Cycle 28 as a Cycle 28 was just about needlessly murdering the player.
I mean, that's interesting that they felt that was needless.
And this vehicle has been named the Lumbering Oaf.
I mean, that sounds as if someone in the stream actually knows me. That feels like I feel seen right now. Okay.
I still think you can be able to jump up there
with the catapult.
The catapult, yeah, but the catapult's in a really dodgy. Haven't you put a wall above at the top?
No, because I've got an extra catapult.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm 6 seconds behind.
I'm still a little bit too much money. That's the problem, right? I don't want to lose a fan though, because like I got 3 bellows. Let's go. Let's do this. Enough of your. Oh god, that's not good. All right. Okay. So the balloons are starting nice and low. So that's something at least. Timing. Yeah. Oh, nice. But I'm gonna miss those.
Who are in chat and have played the beta?
Oh god.
What's your favorite? Like, what's people's favorite objectives, and then least favorite objectives?
Oh jeez, missing balloons left, right, and centre.
Do you think we need to make the balloons bigger?
Yes. That's why I'm missing them all. I don't know. I can't really talk right now.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
No. I don't think so. They do stand out. And some are bigger than others, right? So there's a bit of extra like variation in the challenge. Okay, I assume. So part of the problem is they go as quickly as you do, right? Oh god.
Yeah.
So
the faster your vehicle is going, the harder they are to get.
And they've gone. They've gone. Do they always remind me, Sean? Do they always go up? Like
they sometimes they tend to go up.
Yeah.
But they
see once you're up there, like I guess I could go down and try and build everything stopped. Right. Let's try and build a catapult up here. Give me at least a shot at My bellows aren't ready, so we're not moving anywhere.
So like people are saying like balloon is probably the hardest objective currently in the game.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Should have been a trampoline.
You should have put a trampoline at the top.
Yeah. That's what. Rather than the catapult's not doing too bad.
I quite like the catapult. Yeah. So we So yeah. See that? That's a good point. So
What?
Dave has said like, we're talking about that flywheel idea.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would help in a situation like this because your flywheel could keep things going.
It's so niche though, right? Like it is niche.
The one concern we had about the flywheel was like balancing it so that it doesn't keep the vehicle going indefinitely.
Yeah.
But so like, yeah, Dave did say like it's easier when you've got like the water, the steam engine, because that just kind of goes.
Mm-hmm. Keeps you chugging along, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
40%, not great. Not great. Not gonna lie, that was a toughie. So Jordan, we should have checked. Are you someone who has a problem with balloons? Like, are you like balloons are scary? Some people generally hate balloons.
No, I've got no issue with balloons.
Have you got a problem with balloons, Dave? It sounds like you got a problem with balloons.
Sounds like that was my way of explaining my problem. Yeah, like some people have that problem. No, do I have a problem with balloons? I don't like the sound of balloons being squeaked. Like that hand on balloon kind of. To me, that's like nails on a chalkboard kind of sound, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I've kind of really bought into this whole bellows plus stuff tech. That's my vibe right now, but I want. So interesting, like I suppose to talk about like once you get into a habit of building your vehicle a certain way. Do you think sometimes it gets a bit difficult to get out of that habit?
Yeah, so that's a lot about like we start thinking about the game of like how do we stop that happening? And it's to do with like taking away or changing what panels you have available. For sure. And I think that would be but it can be very easy to do that.
Do you have a preference, Dave, between the Xbox controller, which I assume you're using, or the keyboard and mouse?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I very much started on keyboard and mouse with this game, which is kind of like my default gaming, which I know Sean feels is sacrilegious.
Say that again.
That like I play a lot of games on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
When
sacrilegious about that. Like, you use what you like.
Yeah. Well, whenever I say one or the other, Jordan, to be honest, it doesn't matter to whoever I'm talking to, they seem to feel that that's the wrong way round. Like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't play an RTS with a controller, but there are like I've definitely been like people have said, why are you playing that on a controller, or why are you playing that on a on keyboard and mouse and stuff. So I think it's a more loaded question than other people seem to, but I think that's because I get the answer wrong a lot, apparently.
But some people do, like some people get really, like, I don't know.
That's fair. How did you go about mapping or deciding what functions to map to what buttons then? Because obviously there's like quite a lot going on in terms of what you can do.
It's really hard. Like, So I found doing the controller controls easier because, it's about kind of thinking of like what language people already know through games. Like, so like A is jump.
Yeah,
I guess would be like and that's like people have decided that's how platformers are controlled. Other things like and then we've got like an action button, so then we do that on the X, and that one is. I feel like there's some like control, like I guess the Xbox controller or PlayStation controller are so like ingrained now. It's like we've kind of decided what the best way to map to what the best layout for a controller is, and it's quite constant. like apart from Nintendo, but
they get to do whatever they want.
They do
right?
whatever they want. Yeah. But then so the keyboard is more interesting because like there's still lots like at the moment the default is W is jump and space is action,
which throws a lot of people, right?
Throws some people because they want spacebar to be jump.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So yeah, Frozen pointing out you can remap now on Switch.
Oh, nice.
I had heard about something. I'm sure I'd heard that kind of thing. Is that a system level thing or is that system? Oh wow! Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. So it's a system level remapping. That's fantastic. And similarly in Steam has got like some really good like remapping stuff that you can do just using the Steam client. Like it's really crazy. But like everything's remappable. Like I think it's important to do that when you can because for accessibility. Like some people you have to use very specific hardware, you know.
Don't suppose either of you noticed how far ahead of schedule I was?
I wasn't looking.
That's fine. We'll just not do that then. I probably could have used the money actually. My budget isn't.
Have you actually done a shift in the dine yet?
No, because I'm like I don't know why. I think that's a fair question. Like why I haven't done that yet. But
do you tend to like?
Not if I can avoid it. I like the idea of being
on time.
Yeah.
Let's see some fan stuff.
Yeah.
You've got fans in both blades. Someone's very excited about that.
Yeah, well, yeah, they should be. It's like into cheat mode.
Like the best, yeah. So what systems will the game be available on? At the moment, we're only releasing on PC and Linux. And we're going to release an early access on Steam in the summer and see how that goes and then kind of make a decision based on what we can do, what makes sense kind of more from a business point of view. Which I know is a really boring answer, but that's like we got a thing like that, right?
Yeah, we do. We do, and it's not because we don't like Switch. We love Switch. We love being on Switch, but at various points, we just have to make some tough decisions because I'm in a race with Ellen right now, and there we go.
Everyone is now like moaning that you've somehow cheated the game because you got like two really good panels now,
and I can just sit back and relax. Yeah. So but if I want to beat her, I do have to hustle. This is not just us, and also like I do have to deal with the carrots. But you're right. Like this.
So this kind of shows a point about the game of like. This is where the game goes, which is automation. Yeah. So the fan is a panel you won't get until Act 2 in the actual game. So like we've been playing tonight in Act 1. I think at the moment we're planning to have 3 acts because why wouldn't you have 3 acts?
Yeah, it's a 3-act structure.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's how you tell a story.
Yeah. Yes. So this is like Act 2. So we've kind of in our mind, panels in Act 1 are all about movement, player movement.
Yeah.
And about you moving around your vehicle. Act 2, the panels are all about automation. So it's like the fan that kind of helps you. It turns it into almost like a programming game. That kind of thing. Or like Factorio stuff. And then Act 3, do we want to say what? Are we secret on what Act 3 is going to be about? Panels? Is that still
sci-fi?
Sci-fi. So Act 3 is sci-fi. Yeah. So definitely.
Why wouldn't you say that?
Yeah. Okay. So Act 3 is going to be sci-fi weird panels.
Come on.
So yeah. Firstly, everyone thinks you cheated.
Cheat? How is that cheating?
Yeah. So propellers are probably the best Act 1 tile. Very likely. It pains me watching a Let's Play and seeing people immediately discard them because they're too high maintenance.
Yeah.
But you got to remember the first time you discovered that they were good.
Yes.
And it's like that kind of really, it's that stuff.
Guess what? I get to talk to Sean and Dave.
Oh, did you win?
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers! Like, jeez.
Yeah. So I won't talk to Sean and Dave, but that's what you could get. You could talk to us. The real prize of this game is just a small conversation with me and Sean. Like,
yeah.
What more could you want? So am I not allowed to permanently unlock Turbine? Is that what the crowd are saying?
But I'm good. So what about if you try the challenge mode? A couple of you must have unlocked and got enough stars to try that out.
Sure. All right. Yep. Okay. I'll unlock Turbine. Good challenge mode.
So Dave Soft said people are saying that you definitely cannot use it. And actually, no, they're saying you can use it and they'll judge you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine too. Okay.
So Dave Soft said he thinks Ellen is calibrated or rubber banded. She's not.
No, she's she's
a
gear check.
Yeah, she's a speed check, isn't she? Like, yeah, gear check. So do you want to talk us through these challenge modes?
Okay, so yeah, these are where the challenge modes are at the moment. Obviously, the music's kicking in a little bit, so I'll up mine. But just say if you can't hear me. These are what we've got in at the moment, which is based largely on what we needed from the beta in terms of, a couple of things really. Just like a lot of information back about panel synergies and how you could really use them when you weren't necessarily limited by the story. So, but to click on one, I'll just click the daily just to give you a sense of what it is. So what it is, you basically get a set number of for your wallet. The leg is a certain distance. It's a particular time of day, but that doesn't function too much really. And then you get a kind of grab bag of panels given to you. Okay, and then it generates a leaderboard, but you only get to see the leaderboard, which is both max and average speed, once you've completed one go at the challenges. Okay, so that's kind of the challenge mode in a nutshell. I'm trying to find one which doesn't have the rocket because that's basically cheating. Okay, there we go. So we'll launch the monthly mix. Okay, just to get out the loud menu music. So yeah, that's challenge mode. So like I have a budget of 415. I've got a bunch of panels unlocked that I haven't, I didn't choose personally, but I could take this in a bunch of different directions, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there anything I missed about challenge modes? You unlock them by doing enough of the story mode, basically, and then they're leaderboards that update.
Yeah. We need to think about what we want to have in the final game with those.
Yes.
Like the way I can see it, because we've got like the different acts of panel, like there's different panels, different panels and different acts that you kind of unlock through the story. Part of the thing we want you to enjoy playing the game is to see these new panels and be like, oh, kind of be surprised by them. So we don't want to necessarily you just discover new panels in this mode necessarily. So I can imagine trying to like gate them, like have a kind of Act 1 like challenge mode that is just Act 1 panels, and then an Act 2 that's got a bunch of them. And actually Dave Soft has already mentioned, yes, an idea we've been having about like having more challenge modes that aren't just speed. So like having a balloon, he suggested a balloon survival where they keep going up till you miss.
Ooh,
so yeah,
nice,
that'd be kind of cool. Like how tall you'd need to like have, like how tall can you make a vehicle? You kind of want something where it's like, okay, you make a vehicle with just one level, or like restrict your space somehow, I guess.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
So these are Steam engines. How do they work?
So Steam engine, Sean. I click it on and it goes on, and it uses my water supply, which I've built a bunch of water tanks here. These lovely looking waterfall things here. And my other choice is I can boost it to use more water for more thrust, or I can periodically turn it off. So that so I got a bit of control over them, but they're also one of the lower maintenance panels, right? Like I can just leave these to do what they need to do. I have not done my floors and walls sensibly on this challenge mode. So yeah, but the point of the challenge mode is to give players that ability to be kind of creative and have a lot of different like fun with the game in a kind of like 5 minutes, get on and play Cycle 28 level engagement, right? So you don't have to like be super into the campaign, the story campaign, to just pick up the game and play it for like 10 minutes. Post a monthly score and kind of try something.
Yeah. I think they add quite a lot. I think a lot of people, like a lot of the testers, have been enjoying these modes.
And because bless them, those are folks who have put in a lot of hours to the game for us. So they've seen the story modes like many times. So they're perhaps at the point where they want to just dip into the game a little bit.
It also helps us try to think about balance in these panels. But even that's an interesting question, right? Because we've got such a range of variety of craziness. How do we balance those things?
I just say we don't. Just don't bother.
I think
don't worry about it.
That because
that's not that's not the official party line.
Well, but you're not far wrong. It's a weird because I think we say things like let's balance them without really understanding what we mean by that.
Good.
And I don't know. I think the problem.
Look at that.
Yeah, outside of really glaring issues, I think the main problem is what we don't want you to ever feel like. We don't want to ever make you feel like this panel is so good I wouldn't want to use anything else.
Fair. Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Which is probably what I'm going to show you now as I build a bunch of rockets. This is probably the panel that needs the most balancing question mark, as you're about to see.
Yeah, it does see it. I don't know.
I think because we talked about it being sci-fi, right? See, I've already finished. It feels like that's kind of we're gonna push that panel into space somehow, right? That's gonna be you're not gonna be rolling along the desert when you use the rocket. That's my guess for you at home. Jordan, is Jordan still with us?
I am.
Jordan, okay. You haven't fallen asleep with our kind of boring talk of balancing. What's exciting for you about working on games music as opposed to because what you do other types of composing, right? Why don't you tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my main my main vocation is I do music for movie trailers mainly, and I do a lot of scoring for television programs as well. But obviously with those, I work for a big client usually, and I'm very limited in terms of I enjoy it very much, but I'm limited in terms of what I can do creatively. I'm always answerable to someone.
Sure.
And often the work, particularly on trailers, it goes through 10, 11 rounds of revision before reaching the final stage. So what's really nice about the sort of scaled back projects like this is kind of you've essentially given me pretty much what I'm delivering, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think we did we do anything in the way of we gave you some suggestions of what we thought would work, but I think definitely we recognize, and this is true with our artists as well, we recognize that you guys have the talent, that's why we want to work with you. So if we were too hands-on, there's a risk that we'd balls it up, as far as I'm concerned. Giving you the creative control is what excites us definitely about the process, which is great because if that works, in terms of what you want out of the working relationship, then that's win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very different way of working because it's less about box ticking and more about I suppose writing something that feels right. Whereas if you're it applies to any creative field, including actually making the game, I'm sure. But if you when you go through so many iterations of the same thing and keep changing and revising, there's always this point at which you're not sure if it's actually getting better or not.
Sure. Yeah.
And music very much suffers from that. So, going back and forth with you just a couple of times and you just saying whether you like it or not or whatever is a much nicer way of working than saying, at 32 seconds can you change this, and at 47 seconds can you change that. That after a while that gets a bit I suppose like the interest wanes a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah, no, it's really nice to have that opportunity.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we're super grateful that for the stuff you do for us. Obviously, like this game was transformed in development when we got the music in. Yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say. Even though the music isn't quite as in Cycle 28, it's quite unusual in that sense, isn't it? That the music is so integral to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, it becomes, like, yeah, it's hard to really describe just what's going on there in terms of, for people who haven't played the game, that that music becomes so much part of your experience of what's going on.
Yeah.
To the timings of the music, people are very much tuned into when the music changes. They know certain events are going to happen in the loop. And this game doesn't really lend itself quite so neatly to that, which in some ways is good because it means we can be more creative in how we use it and more varied in how we use it.
Yeah, it kind of gives you a bit of it helps build things like the encounter. For sure. Like, I think people definitely noticed it as soon as we put the music in that race. It definitely, you can hear when streamers play, they're like, oh yeah, the music's kicking in.
Yeah,
it's getting serious.
Yeah.
You made a really interesting point earlier as well about saturation of music. If you've got too much sound going on, it can be a bit wearing. And I probably shouldn't be saying it as a composer, but generally, even in almost all media now, there's always music going on. And I'm not a huge fan of that, because it does, it becomes boring after a while, and it's quite intense on the ears as well. So I feel like well-framed music, like what you've done, where you place it at kind of key moments, it always works better, because you don't get desensitized to it, like in the way that you're doing.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's something that I think for us only really became like really noticeable when we played a few games that had that, which felt like they made that real choice to embrace silence.
Yeah.
Because not all games do. Atmospheric sound is obviously something that a lot of games play around with.
I think it becomes more of a problem when there's less music. I mean, if with big AAA titles, obviously, like, they write hours and hours of music, so repetitiveness becomes less of a problem. But I've noticed on some lower budget games, they might have one or two tracks that just loop continuously, and that I think that can be problematic. But the approach you've taken, you've got a reasonable number of tracks, and then they're spread out nicely. I think that works really well.
Yeah, because we just loved the variety that you gave us, basically, and it was like, wow. We started off, actually, I think, with a bit more of a kind of maybe a structured sense, like to use the tracks a little bit more repetitively, so that players associated certain tracks with certain routes and certain moments and things like that. And what we actually found was that, yes, we gained that effect, but we lost a bit of the joy in the moment of just like people getting to hear lots of different tracks. And I think that was like preferred Do we need
Yeah.
to grease up these propellers a little bit, Sean? Because I'm not getting the cannon experience I want out of that.
I don't know if it's greasing up or it's changing the size of the collider when she's in a ball.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. Because what I'm wanting is I want her to... Like, there's got to be a finite number. She can't just kind of go mad through cannons as much as she wants. But I want her to go through a couple of propellers at least before getting stuck.
I think it's trying to tweak it so the cannon... It is just move up. Oh, I think it's changing her hitbox a bit. I think that's what it is. Changing the hitbox when... Oh, man, how'd you do that?
Yeah, I was going to say that's not something...
Because it just switched to another hit. I mean, like, of course, everything's possible. Everything is possible. What's the game that the FTL guys did after FTL?
Into the Breach?
Yeah, okay. I was just chatting to someone about it in chat.
Love that game.
So, one interesting thing. So, Dave Soft said, have you thought about like a rogue mode where you start with the sale and use money to buy blocks rather than unlock them?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is as in how we originally had the game.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I was just we were chatting in the chat, but like originally you had to pay for every unlock at a truck stop. And we actually called them vending machines. Like they're still. You actually drew a vending machine.
I've got a bunch of assets for vending machines, both on the truck stop and also like as another. Like they were almost a very early version of the blueprint mode in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So like, but then what we found was that we were always, when you get to, like, you'd be playing the game and you'd be like, oh, I'm not going to build a bigger vehicle because I'm saving money for my blueprints.
Yeah. It went directly against that vibe that quickly came out of the beta, was that we wanted you to be as creative as possible. Yeah. Like we just wanted you to play as much as the system allowed. And this kind of idea of watching your wallet too much just went against that, really. Yeah. Talking of earning some money, so I've gone down the cargo route, right? So just for people, this is a route on the map that you can go to that gets you this particular, or the option of this particular panel, where you can earn money, $5 for each panel you carry the entire leg, but they weigh 50 kilograms versus your average kind of 10 kilograms. So like 5 panels worth of weight for $5. Doesn't feel like a great deal, does it, Sean? Like when I say it like that.
Well, $5 isn't that much. No, $5 is.
$5 is
not. The way around
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not a lot, is it? Am I going to build 3 of these things?
Do they cost? How much do they cost?
They cost nothing. You can build as many as you want, but they weigh 50 kilos.
What if you get rid of the floors on those propellers, by the way?
You mean if I get rid of them?
So Dave, like on those propellers, you can get rid of the floors below them, so you've got more of a gap.
Do you think that would be better with the cannon? Is that what
I think so.
Okay. All right. We'll try.
You could even get rid of the floor on the cannon too.
Well, obviously, I'm doing that.
Yeah. So Dave Softer said, does this leg actually check if you have cargo? Once you've got the cargo panel, every single leg checks that. So you can, if the cargo is like a panel that you can unlock permanently, and you can always have cargo, and it will always check. And if you've got cargo, you get money for that leg.
Does Dave Soft not done this leg? Like, is that...
Yes, he has, but like I'm wondering if we haven't made it clear enough that because this is what I was saying about. We were kind of talking about this the other day. Is that it's not really. Oh, you could. Oh, sorry, no. You can start this leg without cargo. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You definitely can.
Yes.
Do that,
yeah. So because it's not really like an objective. It's like you get to unlock a panel by going this way.
Yeah. Yeah. But the yes. Yeah. Like we've had arguments about this, about whether or not it's an objective. It's not. I think you're like. I've come around to your way of thinking for sure that it's not an objective, but I'm okay with that. Like I'm definitely okay with it not being an objective.
Yeah, Dave's sort of saying like cargo needs balloons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some synergy right there, Dave.
So we're going to go to the end of this run?
Sure, yeah. What are we, 9:15? Yeah, that's fair enough, yeah. So it doesn't help her too much through there. Oh, it does. Okay.
That's kind of cool. I like that. That's a cool little arrangement.
Thanks, dude.
How many sort of landscape environments are there?
Oh, Sean, that's a really good question.
Yes.
For you to answer.
So, like, at the moment, there's lots, actually.
Lots.
There's lots. Wait, so,
that's
like, there's
answer.
three, I guess, categories. So, Act 2. So, Act 1 is in the desert, which is this one. Act 2 is going to be in, like, mountains, like, and outside a forest, and then Act 3 is going to be inside a forest.
Right.
And so we've put in so a lot of the assets are hand painted, and like all the background art is hand painted. So so I've been putting like those in. So when we launch in early access, that will have Act 2 will be in there. So we've actually got that in the game now, right? In our development build.
Yep.
And it makes the game feel so different, like completely differently. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think it's low for. I'm sure it will for our players as well. But for us especially, like the game for nearly 18 months, 2 years has looked like the desert scene, right? Like, I mean, things have changed and so on and so forth, but like that's how the game's looked. So to see it with a bunch of trees in the background is just it's hard to really explain how transformative that is. It's like seeing your own game like afresh, completely anew. And that's super exciting.
Do you think you should be able to jump on top of the cargo?
I don't know if I want to or need to. I mean, like from a purely like narrative perspective, maybe, but I don't, because it takes up so much of the panel. Like, I'm wondering what would that actually give me? Yeah.
So do you want to? Some people are talking kind of about the story and like the on-time stuff. Do you want to talk a bit about the story and how what that's all about?
Sure. I'll try and avoid any spoilers. We didn't do too badly. 15 miles an hour on with 3 cargoes. I mean, 3 maybe is not enough. I don't know what the meta is saying is okay. So I'm behind schedule. Let me just quickly choose forward bellows. Is probably given my cannon. The story, yes, that's what we're talking about. So yeah, just quickly, so now the haulage panel is available. Full stop. So yeah, like as the opening cutscene says, you are trying to get home in time for your daughter's birthday. Your daughter is Bryony, and for some reason you are at risk of missing that momentous day. I'm going to just build a very boring vehicle. Yeah. Get me going. As the story progresses, as you meet more people, they kind of give you a sense of perhaps why that's happening. Okay. Sorry, this is the worst time to ask me this question. This is going to be a bad vehicle as well because it's carrots.
That'll be fine.
I love your optimism. One off. Okay, sorry. I'm going to get on the road and then I'm going to talk story. Okay, can we make that deal?
Yeah, we can make that deal.
Cool.
Going for the old bellows, no wheel, no wall.
Yeah. Classic. when you so quick that you miss one of the. Okay, so so you're trying to get home in time for your daughter's birthday. You're running the risk of missing it because you are, for some reason, detained. And these people keep dropping in on you, telling you to get your stuff together and get back in time for your birthday. Is there any... so I'm really worried about giving spoilers, which is really silly.
So people are asking about,
what do they actually want to know?
You'll meet different people. Things will change based on that time. So I think
okay, sure.
that things do change based on what's going on in the actual game. That was kind of the real.
Yeah. So so one of our very early indications that that's the case, that people I'm sure have picked up on, but just in case they've missed, is that when you get to Santa Ana for the first time and Rusty and you're on time, right?
Yeah.
I think it happens even if you're not on time. Rusty will comment on how many sales you've got. He calls them dishcloths, right? So he's a bit dismissive. And he says, are they enough? And the game tracks through the wizardry of programming how many sales you've built over the course of the leg, right? So he says, if you built 3 sales, he says, are 3 sales going to be enough? And that's just a really easy, obvious example of how the game dialogue is just checking what you're doing in the rest of the game and giving you dialogue, interactions, but also options, responses based on those in-game choices.
Yeah.
So the dialogue system is very much responsive. It's built on the same system, using the same system that 80 Days was kind of built with, and they built the studio that made 80 Days, which is Inkle, thank you. Built their system Ink to balloons to make that kind of branching dialogue with decisions easier and more straightforward.
Yeah. So you can concentrate on writing, and it can be. Yeah.
It can be as responsive as you want it to be to the different states in the game. And I think we both know that that system is super exciting and one we're not taking full advantage of yet. I think is it fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's something we're going to be doing more with. Is especially because and playing with the idea that you loop through the game and how we can do things based on knowing how many loops you've gone through.
Yes.
And things like that.
Literally a starter's gun for this race. Nope. Just grab that one. So, yeah. But yeah, definitely I love how the balloons are going mad up there. It's definitely a system which, as a writer, has been super fun to work with because, normally my writing is kind of as all fiction writing is, it's a kind of a static affair. I don't get to I guess if I wrote Choose Your Own Adventures, that kind of thing, I get more of this experience. It's kind of a lot like I imagine writing one of those is.
Yeah.
But
did you ever read those, and did you used to go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did I cheat? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, did you cheat? Yeah.
To begin with, of course I did. I was a kid, right? I was I don't want to die. I've spent ages reading this thing, and it's just beaten me. I'm never beating this rabbit. Did you read those, Jordan? That's something you read when you were a kid, or now? They're okay to read now as an adult. That's fine.
No. I've not come across them.
Okay. Are you thinking of the fighting fantasy one, Sean, or did you read others?
I remember one where it was you were in the snow and trying to survive. It was a survival.
Ooh, okay.
It was really, really violent and quite scary. So if you haven't seen them, it would be things you'd go. It would say, right, if you want to do this, go to page 22.
Yeah.
And now I come to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to work out. I think I was trying to work out how they worked.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to figure out like, oh, well, this is like a node, and like if I'm here, I always end up here. Like I knew that if I got to a certain point, I was going to die because that was.
Yeah,
like,
you start to you start to see the pattern emerging, right? Like, and we were talking like quite vociferously about that in terms of another win. Just chalk that up to it. Is that cheating as well? Is that apparently cheating? Has chat decided I cheated again?
Yes, I'm going to say yes. They haven't
yeah,
it yet, but
just,
I'm going to say yes. They think you're cheating.
Give them time to rage type.
Yeah. No.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Dave Soft says Dave is cheating. Tell him he's cheating, and that we think he's cheating.
Cheaty, Dave. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to leave it on the screen as a tantalizing reminder that when you beat Ellen, you get to have a chat with me and Sean. As I wrap up, so this has been the Steam Summer Festival development stream. Thanks very much, everyone, for popping by and watching it, or watching it on as part of our video archive. Hopefully, it will have showed you a bit about the game. I've been pretty relentless and not shown you too much dialogue, but hopefully, you've seen that there are dialogue systems in there. Go ahead, Sean.
So the demo will be available to download at some point during the next 2 weeks. Or next week, whenever Steam figures itself out.
Sure.
There will be you will be able to play this demo.
And that will be exactly what I've been playing this evening. So there's no difference or disparity between what you've seen here and what will be available in the demo. Mm-hmm. Thanks very much to Jordan for popping by and giving us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, fantastic insight into kind of what it was like to write the brilliant music for this, and just nice having a chat with you, Jordan. We don't get to do that enough, so thanks very much. Sean, where can everybody find us if they're not already finding us there right now?
Well, I would say before you look there, it would really help us if you add this to your wish list.
Wish list this game.
That would really help us. And also, if you know people who might like this kind of game and you could share it with them, that would help us as well. The thing that's really tricky for us right now is getting the word out there.
Yeah.
But you can find us if you go to pillbug.zone. That is a website. Then you can go on there and find. We were streaming on Twitch and YouTube and various other places. We do a stream every week at this time. We play games. We sometimes play our games. We often play other people's games and talk about game design and just kind of hang out.
Cool. So yeah. Too long didn't listen. Please wishlist, make it home on Steam. And thanks everyone for watching. See you guys